What's good, y'all? This your boy Tedashii, man. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Dash, episode 3. We're on the Mirror Talk series right now, and I'm honored, privileged, blessed to have in the building right now my man A&R Lasanna Harris, man. Welcome, brother. I appreciate you being here.
What's up, man? It's exciting, man, just to see you kind of get started with this, man.
Yeah.
You've always been one of my favorite communicators.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, you overdue, bro.
Come on, man. That's what I'm saying. That's what the people been saying. That's what artists have been saying, man. That's what my wife been saying. You know, it's like everybody's been saying that.
For sure.
So it's an honor to have you here, man. So do me a favor before we jump into some more stuff. I don't want to go too far without first giving you the chance to introduce yourself, talk about yourself, let people know who you are.
Yeah, Lasanna Ace Harris. To my kids, I'm just dad. To my wife, I'm just Lasanna.
Yeah.
But to some people in the music business, only a few of them. I'm an A&R producer. Worked on a few records with Coffee, T.I., Lil Wayne. Yeah. And also with the greatest record label in the world, Reach Records.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? I
like how you said a few of them. You know, for a few people, I'm Ace. Man, get out of here, bro. I see the plaques on the wall when I come to the label.
Hey, man, you know, just trying to be humble out here, bro.
Bro, I feel you. So, first of all, we're going to come back to address that false humility. But
we will.
but give me a little rundown real quick of how you jumped into music. How did that come about?
For sure. So I am a preacher's kid. Mm-hmm. I feel like if you are a preacher's kid, you got to play something in the church.
This is true. They're not going to let you slide. You're just going to sit around. You're going to do something.
Gotcha. I grew up playing drums in the church, so that was my knack for music. And I feel like when I was 14 years old, I heard this Jay-Z record, Jigga Who, Jigga What, and I pretty much in that beat, I pretty much isolated every instrument in that beat. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yo, this is what I want to do when I get older. So Timbaland the GOAT, my favorite producer of all time. And I just kind of pursued making beats until I just finally got somewhere. And that's kind of how I got an intern everywhere in college. Yeah. Went broke, quit my job, went back to work, quit my job, got married, quit my job in 6 months, took my money out the wedding budget to go to LA for a trip.
What?
And it didn't happen. So I pretty much pursued music like a crazy person until I finally got somewhere.
Yeah. Hold on, let's go back for a second. So you went to college. Where'd you go to college?
Georgia State.
Georgia State.
Yeah.
Major?
Marketing.
Okay.
Make sure you tell Marcus that too.
I will let Marcus know. Like,
all the marketing people know.
You're not the only one in here, Marcus, who know marketing, bro.
Sure,
that ain't it. But like, so in college, you still pursuing music. You said you kept doing it till you got somewhere. What was the marker of getting somewhere for you?
I mean, it was kind of like, when you're young, I feel like the benefit is that you have an ideal energy, that you feel like everything, your next move is your best move. Yeah. So I just was like, I remember being in my dorm room when I was like 20 years old. And I made this beat, which at the time was the best beat in the world. Yeah. And I was like, yo, I'm ready. I talked to God. I was like, I'm ready, yo. Put me on. Next year it's about to happen.
This man said, God, don't you see it? I'm ready.
I'm ready. So I just kept going. I interned everywhere through college. This is when I'm showing my age, but I interned in college when you didn't have to get college credit for it, meaning that the labels can treat you any kind of way.
Wow.
So I'm talking about DTP, Jeezy's label, Purple Ribbon, Big Boy's label, Sony, Patchwork Studios. I interned everywhere. Just to try to like get into the game.
How did you get these internships for people wanting to know how that happens? Like, how did you do that?
I just kind of knocked on doors and just filled out. I just kind of went for it, right? Yeah. So there was an internship program at my college that my music business professor was offering, so I got that through Sony. Yeah, and that was more official internship. Yeah. But I remember when I got that Sony marketing internship, I emailed the guy probably every day for about 4 months until the next slot was open. So when he finally emailed me back for the opening internship position, he was like, yo, your persistence got my attention. So I was like,
Okay. I just want people to take note of that, right? Because a lot of people feel as if because they're talented, it's supposed to come to them. Mm-hmm. And you was like, I got to get up, get on my feet and go get busy. And even someone in the industry was like, your persistence paid off.
For sure. So it was cool. I just kind of kept going. One cool internship story. This was in college. This was like maybe I think junior year. Yeah. And when I say we interned everywhere, we even interned, me and my boys at the time who were trying to break into the music business. I interned at a catering company for a celebrity chef who was like a chef to like Ludacris and all the stars. And why? Who was just trying to be in the mix? And she got this really cool opportunity to be to cater the food for Kanye's Gold Digger video shoot in Miami.
What?
So she brought. Man, she kind of was using us with no money because she had like 10. She had like 10.
Y'all were staff.
Bro,
y'all was the unpaid staff.
My man, we was carrying trays and plates for like 2 hours, unpaid. We went all the way down to Miami, like all up in a van, like just going crazy. But I interned with that catering. I remember I had like a yellow shirt with her like logo on it, tucked in with like serving gloves on at the video shoot of Kanye's Gold Digger. And
you had the white, the white.
I was like
Butler, Forrest Whitaker Butler gloves on.
Yo, anything for music. I was just like, I remember I slid my beat CD to, on Ye's song "We Major."
Yeah.
Nas featuring the other not so named artist, Really Dope.
Yeah.
I slid my beat CD to Really Dope. Got his number, and he had texted me back like a couple weeks later, like, "Yo, them beats is hard. I'm gonna rock with them, whatever." So nothing ever happened. But, just the idea of just going to Miami to serve food on a video shoot.
Brought something completely different about it.
For
That's
sure. Yeah.
Wow.
So
just point out the fact that that your journey is interesting to me because of the different routes you had to take in order to get where you are now. And it all didn't necessarily line up in this straight line. It was a lot of patience and humility, a lot of working, still cooking, right? Even though it was like, I don't know what this is for, but we just gonna do it. But also shout out to the wives that hold down the people who out here pursuing their dreams like that. Cause I'm like, your wife is a real one, bro.
She's great.
A real one.
She's great.
So OBJ starts with the line that I think is superb. It says, fresh off my sabbatical. I wanted people to know, like, I've been gone, but I still been busy. I've been doing stuff.
Right.
And I think Mirror Talk kind of gives people a glimpse into what I've been dealing with.
Right.
The entirety of that song is based on lessons learned in therapy. I've been in therapy the last 3 years. Lessons learned through doing psychiatric work, lessons learned through community and walking with different people. And so that's a song I put my soul into, bro. So I don't know. First, just give me your thoughts about Mirror Talk.
Well, I remember when you first played it for the label in the studio lobby. The first time I heard it, because you was holding the records from us.
Yep.
I was like, yo, this record is special, man, because the content is so refreshing and it's so transparent, so vulnerable.
Yeah.
And it's heavy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's some heavy content in there. But I think that's the beauty of, especially with our faith, is to bleed out, show what we're going through in a dope artistic way. I mean, what will we be unashamed about if we're ashamed to talk about our faith and our struggles?
Yeah, bro.
And that's a part of, I think, the gospel people center on that so much. And a lot of the songs in the Christian market are only painting one side of this faith walk. You know what I'm saying? When it's like, nah, if you down, put that on the record. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because that's people need to see that so they can identify with what it looks like to actually be a Christian who struggles or a person who struggles.
Yeah.
So I think Mirror Talk, when I first heard it, obviously there's some heavy moments in there. The production is really dope, really clean, gives me that kind of like Drake feel, but the rapping is just so raw and I just love it. And I feel like people are going to be like kind of shocked. Like, oh, wow, he went there. You know what I'm saying?
So speaking of shocked, what part or parts shocked you the most? What was like jarring?
So I think obviously there's the broader part about the White Blessings line.
All right.
But I'm not even gonna go there. I'm gonna say that for another time. I think the part about you reach out for certain artists for a feature, and how like, man, I was thinking about this morning. I'm like, man, it's tough to especially being an A&R and you have a roster of amazing artists, and sometimes having to steward the time and the support for each artist, and then also managing their interrelational intricacies. And then, I think there are times where you may feel like, man, when I need a feature from you, it's like, I can't get this verse back, but when you need me to do some chants, it's like, so I felt like, man, I think I mean, even recently, I had a situation where an artist, he's a feature from another artist, and this same artist who's taking his time getting that verse back was the same artist who kind of felt taken aback when someone else didn't get their verse back to them. And it's like, honestly, when you're in a busier season, when your platform starts to grow, you have to realize, like, this is like, part of the nature of being in relation with artists and giving people grace.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To not throw them away, because it's tough. And just because we're label mates don't mean everybody's like, best friends singing Kumbaya, making music together every day. There's life, there's wives, there's children, there's obligations. So I felt that line. I was like, I wonder if Tedashii was hurt by that, or if he's talked to talk through it with some people or whatever. So I felt that.
No, that's good. That's good. I definitely, just being transparent, like I definitely struggled to talk to people about that. Like it's one thing for me to come to the label with my own insecurities about things already. Like I'm insecure about music because I was an athlete and my friends wanted me to rap with them. And then I started doing rap, but it's like, wait, I'm not getting the spins on this station. I'm not getting the calls from these promoters. I'm not overhearing these events. And so pretty soon you start to realize any industry comes with a level of hierarchy, but when it starts to bleed into your own circle, you're like, why do we operate like this now? What is this about? And I realized I'm not just insecure about myself as an artist, I'm becoming insecure about my relationship with y'all now. So I have to address this so that there's a clear distinction between artist relationship and personal relationship.
For sure. Yeah, sure.
And I feel like that was a long overdue conversation with a lot of people that I was able to have and be honest about. But it just took time, man, because you realize, like, I mean, that's why I say in the song, like, friendship ain't on the same line as Christian, like fractions, like, or Christian ain't on the same line as friendship, like fractions. It's like one is always put above the other, and one assumes the other. So if I end up friends with a dude, people see me with him and they assume he's a Christian too. Or if I'm around the Christians, people assume we all friends now because we all, and it's like, nah, the two aren't equal. One is put above the other, and you make the other one assume an assumption based on what's on top. And I'm just like, we got to stop doing that. We just need to start, instead of assuming the relationships, have real conversation.
Real conversation.
So that's what I had to start doing, bro. But yeah, that line was me talking to myself, me making it known I struggle with this, because I know there are other artists who struggle with it but don't talk about it. Or if they do, they vent it in a way that is toxic.
Facts.
So
yeah.
I got to go there for one moment and then we'll wrap up in a second. But like, was White Blessings.
So, okay. Guess we can do a real spill here, right?
Yeah, bro, come on.
When I heard the line, I feel like I'm naturally am very diplomatic.
Yeah.
That's my natural bent. I believe in being truthful and being upfront, but I'm naturally like, how do we harmonize? How do we, preserve people's, feelings? How do we get the truth out without hurting people's feelings? But sometimes you kind of can't not do the same, can't do both at the same time. So when I heard the line, I was like, okay. But I was like, all right, he's going there. Cool. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to assume your relationship with Louis, because I think differences aside, and cultural differences aside, I feel like Louis has done a tremendous amount of, and Passion City Church have done a tremendous amount for the kingdom in terms of raising up young people to follow Jesus, to passionately. So, I mean, in their cultural context, kudos to them, right?
Yeah.
I think sometimes when there's a cultural meshing of worlds and there's not a true understanding of those different cultures, it can create a possibility for something to be said wrong, for offense to be taken, for fumbles. And so when those fumbles happen, it's best that both parties kind of step back and see, like, hey, how do we fumble here, and how can we learn from each other?
Right.
And I think sometimes in evangelical spaces, the default is, oh, we were sorry that we offended you, and we're sorry that we did this, and we mean well, but we're not really trying to do the work that it takes to understand why those things are offensive. You know what I'm saying? Because it'll take some disruption of some structures and politics, whatever. So when I heard the line, I was like, man, I ain't tripping.
That was well said, by the way. That was well said. You said you wasn't tripping?
No, I wasn't tripping, because I was like, I mean, I try not to censor, like, if an artist is saying something on a record that is just like foul, like theologically wonky, I'm like, yo, fam, you gotta just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if an artist is using, like, even when Andy, people notice I said when he said the damn word on his project, and people had some issues with it, and I was like, well, he's venting about his dad not showing up at his wedding. This is an actual righteous anger moment. Yeah. Like, this brother is really, so I think that's, now if you're using it recklessly, I'm like, nah, fam, that's unnecessary. Right?
No, I get that.
So I think harsh or, real topics or verses or comments or mention or like white blessings, if it's done from a pure place with the intent to just express yourself artistically, I'm fine with it. Right? As long as my thing, as long as you had a conversation with Louis.
Oh yeah.
I think to go to, on the flip side, I've talked to a couple people in CHH, when there's like a real issue and you go to Twitter and start venting, I'm not a fan of that either.
That's real.
Because even though we may not be friends, if we are calling ourselves Christian, then we're supposed to go to our brother, that's in the Bible. Like, let's talk it out. Yeah. So I feel like as long as there's a conversation, that's fine. Now, if people want to try to censor what you're saying because people may be offended about your truth, that's why I'm like, I don't know if that's the right place to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, let me. I feel like we haven't really talked about this before, so let me let me first say thank you for sharing that and going there. I brought it up because you mentioned it, so I know it stood out to you. I feel like in that song, many different parts stand out to people. My vulnerability about weight and size, my honesty about struggle with artists, or my sincerity concerning being around a certain group of people when I'm out of the country and feeling weird, and my skin not being like everybody else's. but there's a moment where I know for some people, not everybody, but for some people, that line is going to stand out. And so I feel like you addressed it well. There is a part that I do want to clarify. Like, I think oftentimes when you decide to say something that is a conviction of your own, if it involves someone else in any way, the natural inclination for somebody is to assume it's in confrontation or opposition to somebody.
Right.
And in my mind, I'm like, that's not the case at all. It only feels that way, in my opinion, when a person chooses to become arrogant. Accountability accountability feels wrong to the arrogant. It doesn't feel off or wrong to people pursuing humility. It's like, okay, so if I'm going to have an accountable moment for myself, speaking on my personal journey, especially, like I said before, the preface of it is like through therapy, psychiatric work, marriage work, life work, friendship, community, integrated living, all of that, I arrive at the place to go, I have to speak honestly about what I feel toward this issue. The issue overall has nothing to do with the person who said the phrase, has way more to do with the fact that this individual gave us a language to communicate to individuals who struggle with the word privilege. So many people struggle to say there is a such thing as white privilege, but at the same time, will embrace the idea of being blessed. So I thought, man, what a great moment to evoke that phrase and shed some light on the reality that the things I've endured, watching people sit silent during police brutality, watching the country go crazy January 6th, and these are people calling themselves Christians and responding in the way they did to me posting certain things on social media about it. All of that plays a part in me going, yo, this is another example of this white blessing idea where you are blessed enough in this country to act the fool the way you did on that day, or to treat certain people certain ways, ignore certain issues that are important, all for the sake of your own benefit, and you get away with that.
Sure.
But culturally, communally, no one's letting me slide on that. Like, if I'm sitting silent while the person next to me is being harmed, then there's a problem. But in the Black community, I'm always next to you. We skin folk regardless. If we ain't kinfolk, we at least skin folk. And I'm like, I got to look out and go, okay, I'm for you. What are we going to do?
Right.
So the hope was to address the larger issue. And my prayers, people can look beyond the phrase itself to the context that the phrase sits in on the song.
Sure.
So
we hope people can think critically about the line and not react emotionally.
But that's the whole purpose. That's the whole reason why I write the way I write, is because in my opinion, even for myself included, I had to stop one day and go, where did critical thinking go? Where did it go? When did people say,
it's out of here?
Man, when did people say it's emotion first now, or it's frustration first?
I'll tell you when. January 18, 2016.
You hilarious.
It was the 18th.
You took a 4.5 to 4.5. Boom, boom. So, bruh, I feel like critical thinking just went out the window. It just disappeared. So I was like, you know what? I'm writing in such a way that folk got to think critically.
Yes.
And I'm going to write in such a way that if you like hip hop, you're going to be like, oh, he got bars too. Like, I want to write like that.
For sure.
So, man, I'm like, I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm here to paint a picture in such a way that it inspires you to think critically, to draw your own conclusion.
Thank you.
And then if you live in by the Spirit of the Lord,
Hallelujah.
Whatever conclusion you draw, it'll guide you in the way He's calling you.
Preach.
But like, I'm not here to be your Holy Spirit. I'm not here to be to tell you what to think. So, yeah.
And it's art too. And I think we have to allow, even what I said earlier about allowing the consumer we have to give them a little bit of space to think. We have to assume that there's some depth in our listeners, and then, I mean, be encouraged. I pray people think critically and not react emotionally.
Real talk, man. So, segueing from that into thinking critically, bro, I got a question to close out. So, if you could take a mirror and hold it up to yourself, what is something that you would say to yourself in that mirror that you know you need to deal with, that you may not be honest with yourself about? Like, look in the mirror and get real. What are you saying?
I feel like I am a definite workaholic who I thrive in being busy. So I feel like even sitting here in your space, I'm looking at some of your designs, decor, and the intentionality to make your home livable. Mm-hmm. I feel like I don't allow myself enough space to just live and experience life, because I'm always I'm wired. I actually love getting stuff done.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? But I feel like you have to, even back to Ecclesiastes, it's like, it's meaningless, right? It's like, what is life if it's all going to be about accomplishments and pursuing things?
That's real.
If I can tell myself in the mirror, I'd be like, yo, man, just take a breath, take a breather. You know what I'm saying? Like, decorate your studio, take your boys out, live, breathe, enjoy, because there is no arrival, really. We're kind of already in it. Life is really a journey. So,
yeah, bro. Yo, man, thank you for being here, bro. You dropping nuggets on folk, bro.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, bro, for being here.
Keep going,
man,
bro.
For real. Oh, I'm excited. This is only episode 3, baby.
Mirror Talk. Let's get it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, again, you're listening to The Dash, and we are doing the Mirror Talk series. We'll be right back after this quick break from our sponsors. I'm just kidding. We ain't got none of those.
Shoes.